Right, storage area networks in 5 minutes. So first of all, why do we need a storage area network? Well, it comes down primarily to a couple of weaknesses in a local area network. One of the weaknesses I'll talk about is when it comes to backing up your data. All your data is written onto hard drives that sit in your servers. When an IT manager does his backup, he has to drag that data from the hard drive across the local area network into the backup server and into his tape drive. That causes a lot of extra traffic on the local area network, slowing it down. So it means these people here can't do their jobs. So what he has to do is try and find a window of opportunity, called a backup window, that he can do the backup without having a negative impact on the local area network. Obviously that's usually at night when these people aren't working. Trouble is, these people are working longer and longer hours, but crucially there is more and more data to be backed up, so it takes longer. That's a problem for an IT manager. Another weakness with that is there's too many single points of failure. If this CPU falls over in this server, it means that nobody can have access to any data that's written on there. If somebody pulls the plug out there, it means that nobody can access data on there. So a couple of important issues we've raised when it comes to local area networks. These things run great, but if there's more and more data on there, you struggle with your backup, and often it's too easy to have a scenario where you can't have access to the data. So what do we do to solve that? Well, what we do, we create another network that's purely for the storage. First of all, we take the storage out of the servers and we rebuild them in a disk array in a separate part of the data center. Within that disk array, you've got all the hard drives that you previously had in the servers. Also to that, we make sure that we're running RAID in that disk array, which means that we're writing the data multiple times, so if we lose one of those hard drives, you can always access that data in some way. How do we connect that? Well, we need some plumbing. I'll just draw this how it looks and then I'll come back to talk about exactly what I'm talking about. But you can see that what I'm making sure is that there is always more than one route for that data to be able to get from the disk array to the client. If this unit here fails, we can always reroute it through that unit through here. If somebody trips over that cable, there's always another cable for it to run through to get to that disk array. So what we've created is another network for the storage, which we're going to call a storage area network. We've just seen that that storage area network, it helps the availability issues that we had with the LAN. How does it help with the backup? Well, it helps because we don't connect the backup device directly into the LAN anymore. We connect it into the storage area network. And what that means is that the data path now comes from the disk array into this unit and then into the backup device. It completely misses out the local area network, meaning that it doesn't add traffic, and so we can be doing a backup at the same time that people are working and they'll not know. So exactly what am I talking about here? Let's work this way across. The gateway into storage area network, the network card, is called an HBA, a host bus adapter. Who makes these things? Only two companies, Emulex and QLogic. This is fibre optic cabling which connects to these switches. Who makes these switches? Well, primarily a company called Cisco, but there's also the companies out there called Brocade and QLogic that also try and infiltrate that market. These RAID arrays, who makes these? Primarily we're talking about companies like HP, IBM, Hitachi Data Systems and EMC. So by connecting a disk array through switches, creating a fabric into an HBA using a protocol called Fibre Channel, what we've done, we've created a network for the storage which we call a storage area network. That's what SANs are all about.